All right, so welcome. Today we will explore getting your classes set up with Seesaw in Clever. My name is Yvonne Post, and I am a professional development and training specialist here at Seesaw, and I currently live in San Antonio, Texas. And so on the call today, we have our Clever support specialist, and I will let Katie introduce herself.
Thanks, Yvonne. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Gardner. I'm a technical support specialist for Clever. I'm really glad to be here today to help you all learn how to get Seesaw set up and going for your district. I saw a lot of people in the chat who said they were TOSAs. I was a TOSA previous to working at Clever. I was also a classroom teacher for many years. I was in the education industry for 16 years, and now I'm working on my second career at Clever, and I'm really excited to be here.
All right, so this webinar is for admin who plan to use Clever to create Seesaw classes this back to school. So just a quick note, if you will be making any changes to the number of student licenses or schools that are syncing, please go ahead and reach out to our Seesaw support team. We went ahead and dropped that link in the chat for you. So today we are going to explore how to set up Clever and Seesaw. So we're going to explore how to request, to connect Clever to Seesaw, recommended sharing rules, set up classes with Clever, and troubleshooting. And last but not least, we will share our training and professional development opportunities here at Seesaw. So as we get started, I wanted to share some common questions and some answers for you. So the first question is, so what will happen to all classes when we sync with Clever? So the Clever sync will not affect any classes created by your teachers. Manually created classes that will not be in use this school year should be archived by an admin. So last year's Clever classes will be automatically archived when the new school year data is synced with Seesaw. So the next question is, we used Clever last year. Can I keep my old sharing rules? Yes. There is no need to set up new sharing rules every year unless your Seesaw for School subscription changes to add more schools, grade levels, or subject areas. So if your subscription has changed, you can edit your sharing rules to include those additional sections or schools. So in the chat, we've went ahead and included an additional resource to help guide you through these questions. All right, I'm going to kick it on over to Katie.
All right, everyone. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to add Seesaw. If you don't already have Seesaw, add it as an application through Clever. And then we'll also talk about some adjustments that you can make to sharing rules as well. So as you can see from these screenshots, adding Seesaw to your Clever is very simple. From the left side menu on your Clever dashboard, you can click the Applications drop-down menu and select Add Applications. From this screen, you can search for Seesaw. When Seesaw appears, you can click Request App, and your request will be sent to Seesaw for review. There will also be a few additional questions you'll need to answer before submitting your request, including whether or not you've already purchased Seesaw for your district and whether or not you would like to set a launch date. Once the Seesaw app has been approved, you'll then see the app in your list of applications on the Clever dashboard alongside a green launched icon. If you're not setting up Seesaw for the first time and you already have it launched, you should still see the same launched icon next to your Seesaw application. So now you'll want to adjust the sharing settings for Seesaw. As Yvonne mentioned, if you want to just keep last year's sharing settings, as long as they were working for you, feel free to keep them. But if you're adding the application for the first time, or if you need to make any adjustments to those sharing settings, then what you'll want to do is access those sharing settings for Seesaw by clicking the application name. And this is from the list of applications on your Clever dashboard. And then you'll click the little Edit Sharing button underneath the box that says Shared Data on the overview page for Seesaw. Once inside those sharing settings, you can then fine-tune the users that are shared with Seesaw. And you'll note that Seesaw recommends using sharing by rules as opposed to sharing by district or sharing by schools. This is so that you can ensure only the necessary and licensed users are shared. And then on the right, you'll see a sample of a good sharing rule for Seesaw. This rule shares only kindergarten through second grade sections that have a subject of homeroom or advisory at Pineapple Elementary School. Also note that this rule will also share teachers and students that are associated with the section as well. So no need to add additional sharing rules for the users. If you're sharing the section, you're also sharing the users. You can also add or adjust as many rules as you'd like to be shared for licensed users, but Seesaw requires only sections listed as homeroom advisory as the subject for the grade levels you have licensed, or any single class that captures the student roster for a teacher. Now I'm going to hand it back over to Yvonne to show you how to log into your Seesaw admin account.
Thank you, Katie. Such great information. All right, so before we get started, let's make sure that you're signed into your Seesaw for Schools admin account. So in order to access your admin dashboard, you must have an admin account in Seesaw. To log in as a Seesaw for Schools administrator, you will need to navigate to app.seesaw.me while on a computer. Then click I'm a Seesaw for Schools administrator. District admin access their roster sync dashboard from their district dashboard. In order to run a sync, you will need to be a Seesaw district administrator. So once your sharing rules have been configured, you can check your data and get ready to sync to roster classes for the new school year. So before you sync, it is important to review your data in Clever. From your Clever admin account, confirm students, teachers, and sections, and make sure that they look correct for each rule. Seesaw will replicate your Clever data and create a class for every section shared in Clever. Seesaw pulls student IDs from the SIS field in Clever. Please make sure that the SIS ID field in Clever matches the student ID in Seesaw. If you need to make any adjustments, you can use the pencil icon to edit existing rules. Confirm that the total number of students, teachers, and classes match what your school or district has purchased for. If you share more students than you purchased for, your sync will be put on a hold. The sync will not be able to run properly until you edit the number of students to match what you purchased for. To resume your nightly sync, click the Manage Sync button on your district admin dashboard. That'll be found in the bottom right-hand corner. When the majority of your classes are ready and you are all set to sync your classes from Clever to Seesaw, head to your Seesaw District Admin dashboard and click Manage Roster Sync. Then click Resume Nightly Sync. After you run your first full sync between Clever and Seesaw, you may find errors on your roster sync dashboard. Errors can block data from fully syncing over and impact students and teachers' ability to fully use Seesaw. So only share grade levels and classes you have purchased Seesaw for Schools for. Contact the person at your school or district who purchased Seesaw to confirm those numbers, then update your sharing rules. Sharing more students than you have purchased Seesaw for will create what we call a hold on your sync. Seesaw only supports 150 students and 20 teachers per class. Classes will not update if they exceed these limits. Update your sharing rules to fit within these limits. For more information on Seesaw user limits, we went ahead and placed a link in the chat for you. So a grade level is not required in Clever. If you don't include a grade level, classes will sync as grade level other in Seesaw. So for more information on clearing these errors, including which errors that require assistance from our Seesaw support team, we have placed our Seesaw support request form in the chat for you, along with some other resources on how to fix these sync errors. If one of your schools is paused, you can resume the nightly sync for that school by clicking the three-dot menu button next to that school and then select Resume Nightly Sync. For schools that have a hold, you'll need to resolve errors and rerun your sync for that school. To view any errors affecting a school in Seesaw, click the View Errors button that appears next to the school. You'll be taken to your error description page, and you can also download all of the errors for a school at one time by clicking the three-dot button next to your school and then download all your errors in a CSV format. We do recommend checking your roster sync dashboard on a daily basis throughout the school year to keep an eye on how your data is flowing into Seesaw, and to also quickly resolve any errors that may arise. The error description page will show you any errors that occur. Follow these instructions under resolution to make the changes required to your data in Clever or the school's admin dashboard. Once you have resolved the errors, you can clear them by rerunning your sync. Simply click Rerun Sync from the error description page. If you have questions about how to resolve an error, you can reach out to our Seesaw support team for assistance, and we have dropped that link in the chat for you. All right, I'm going to send it back over to Katie now.
Hi, everyone. So Yvonne gave you some great tips on how to troubleshoot any issues regarding data or sharing when it comes to the Seesaw side of things. But I'm going to show you a few troubleshooting tips that you can try as an administrator with Clever as well. And then if you have any questions, of course, you can ask us about that at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right, I hope everyone can see Reba Reynolds here. So Reba Reynolds is a demo student, and we're going to use her as a demo student that is having issues with Seesaw. So from your Clever dashboard, one thing that we highly recommend is first just pulling up the student's profile page on the Clever dashboard. And from here, you have many support tools on the upper right-hand side that you can use to help you in troubleshooting. One of those is accessing the portal as the user. So if we click Access the Portal as User and Start Portal Session, it will take us into Reba's Clever portal. And one good thing to try here is first to make sure that you see the Seesaw application in the portal. If you do not see the Seesaw application in the portal, the issue is likely related to sharing. If you do see the icon for Seesaw in the user's portal, then the issue may be related to a data quality error, or we would call an SSO error. So from this point, I'm not actually going to do this, but you would just click Seesaw and go through the login process to ensure that the user can actually get logged into Seesaw. If they cannot, then that's an indicator for you. I'm going to end this portal session and go back to show you a few tips on how to troubleshoot both SSO issues and sharing issues. So let's say you access the portal as Reba and noticed that you didn't see Seesaw in her portal. You can also scroll down to the bottom of her page and check to make sure that the app is listed here and that she is shared. If it is not, then it's a sharing rule issue. And what we'll want to use is our support tools troubleshoot user sharing tool. And then we can type in the name of the application and it will give us an outline or an overview of what some potential issues may be. As you can see, Reba is shared, but if she was not shared, this icon would be red and would say not shared, and you would be able to scroll down and see what the current rules are and which rules you may be able to adjust to make sure Reba is shared. Another tip is using the troubleshoot user login tool. So this would be for if a user is shared, but when they click the application from their Clever portal, it doesn't log them in for some reason, or maybe there's an error that's being related. So her name is here, and we're just going to put in Seesaw here. And you have a whole test summary that pulls up on the right-hand side that shows you all of the things that our systems have checked. And then if you see the user has not logged into Clever in the last 7 days, that's always going to be an indicator that is mentioned, but it's not usually going to be an indicator that there's actually a data quality issue. So what we would do is we would go all the way to the bottom and see that if everything else checked out, we may just want to go ahead and reach out to Seesaw for support on this issue. And you can do that in 2 ways. You can reach out to Clever first and we can loop in Seesaw support, or you can reach out to Seesaw support directly. Another place that you can check some data quality errors would be on the left-hand side under Support Tools, Data Quality. And you would notice that right now there are no data quality issues, but you would see data quality issues if Reba was related to perhaps Reba is associated with a grade level that's not recognized, or associated with a section that doesn't have a homeroom advisory subject. You would see that flagged as a data quality issue here. Last but not least, I think if you have any other issues or if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to Clever support using support.clever.com, and we can try to help you with any troubleshooting issues on our end, or we can loop in Seesaw support additionally. I'm going to pass it back over to Yvonne.
Thank you, Katie. All right. Okay, so let's talk about PD and training opportunities for your school and or district. So the Seesaw Learning Hub has just launched, and it is an online portal where teachers and administrators can invest in their professional growth to elevate learning in the classroom and explore the best ways to use Seesaw with their learning communities. So we just put the link in the chat for you to get to the Learning Hub. So the Learning Hub is separate from the Seesaw app. Teachers and administrators, just like yourself, just need to sign in and create an account at learn.seesaw.me to start learning at your own pace. So you can pause and return to the courses at any time and continue exactly where you left off. So the Learning Hub looks just like this, and it is broken down into pathways of short courses to help your teachers and administrators get started and or go deeper. So here is an example of a pathway, the Getting Started pathway. So you can see that there are 5 different courses within this pathway. We also have a Deepen Learning pathway, a pathway for specialist teachers, a Seesaw Lessons pathway, a pathway for Seesaw community members, and an administrator's pathway. Highly encourage you all to check that out. So teachers and administrators can begin and pause the different courses again and complete it at your own pace. So here is our PD catalog, and it outlines all training and professional development that is available for our Seesaw administrators. And we have put that link in the chat for you. So we will continue to have our Train the Trainer support for in-house trainers, coaches, ambassadors, or Seesaw certified educators. So you can continue to access our resources and our free PD kits at web.seesaw.me/Seesaw for Schools PD. We do recommend bookmarking this page for quick access. And here you can find more detailed information about our PD formats and sessions that are available. And we have placed that link in the chat for you as well. And you can find setup steps and resources for you as administrators right here. And we also recommend bookmarking this page for quick access. And we place that link in the chat for you as well. And our training page is where you will find upcoming free webinars, just like this one that you registered for, that you and your staff can register for to support you in getting up and running with your Seesaw for back to school and beyond. And that is web.seesaw.me/training. And I do encourage you to check that out. We've got some great back to school teacher webinars coming up. All right, so Seesaw Connect is in full swing. It is our free virtual conference for every Seesaw educator and administrator. So it started last Monday on July 25th. You can still enroll now and gain access to 30 plus conference courses, which you will have access to until August 14th. So administrators, have you nominated any educators to fast track to ambassador yet? This is great because it guarantees successful Seesaw implementation and Seesaw PD for your school. So you can talk to your CSM to get your nomination type form. We have added some community resources for you in the chat as well. And if you're responsible for training other teachers or supporting their implementation of Seesaw, you have the opportunity to fast track into our Seesaw Ambassador community. So this is available only to you as a paid school. So this gives you access to a network of support with other Seesaw leaders. And you can nominate up to 3 leaders at your district or school level to fast track. So in the chat, we have added how to connect in a Seesaw learning community and how to become a Seesaw pioneer. All right. So now that we have covered how to set up classes with Clever and all of our available resources, along with Katie and all of her fabulous resources, as well as her demonstration today, let's go ahead and open it up for any questions that we have. All right, so if the classes are archived, will the teachers lose all of the work from last year? Is there a way to reuse post? So if the classes are archived, they will not lose any of their work. I'm assuming they're talking about activities. So the activities will stay in their My Library, and they can always unarchive a class if they need to as well. Okay. If we set up classes with homeroom, can teachers still create their own classes? Jean or
Hey, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yes, teachers will still have the ability to create their own classes. Unfortunately,
yes, I know. Yeah, they can manually create them if you want them to. But the beauty of Clever is that they're already automatically created for them. So, Okay, how do we add specials teachers, art, music, PE, STEM that teach all homerooms? That's a fabulous question. I know that we've got a great Help Center article that really touches on that. We can drop that link in the chat. If not, you can always reach out to support and we can guide you through that as well. Oh, there we go. Thank you. It's there. Awesome. All right. If teachers have manually created courses, do the students enrolled in these count against the purchase licenses? No.
And then just to add on,
Sorry, do you want to add on that, Jean?
just add on to that, as long as the student account has the same student ID, it counts as one student license. So you just have to be careful. The students coming from Clever, their student ID is that SIS ID in Clever. And you'll want to make sure that when teachers are manually creating classes, that those student accounts have the same ID that is being shared in Clever. So it's one student account counts as one student license.
Awesome. Thank you for that clarification, Jean. And I think that that can go with this one. Can a student be in multiple classes if rostered through Clever? Is that right, Jean? Or
yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to give everybody wait time. The teacher in me, and I think Katie can agree, the teacher in us wants to give everybody wait time in case there are any other questions that we can answer. If not, we can give you some of your time back today. I know it's a very busy time of the year, the start of August. I know you all are busy, busy, busy. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, we had one come in. Do we want to show that? Okay. Can you explain the last answer again? Oh, was it about the students? Can a student be in multiple classes if rostered through Clever? Okay. Jean or Kiki, do you want to explain it a little deeper? Or
I'm not sure. Actually, Katie may be able to answer this better on the Clever side, but I do know on our end, students can be in multiple sections and they will sync over into Seesaw.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. In Clever, you can have the same student enrolled in multiple sections or classes as well. And like Jean mentioned, as long as that SIS ID or student ID on the Seesaw side matches between Seesaw and Clever, then they're being seen as just one record or one license, so they can be in multiple classes.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. And yes, this webinar is being recorded and it will be sent to you via email, the one that you registered for this session for, in about 24 to 48 hours. Great question. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for Katie for being with us today here from Clever. We're so lucky to have you. And again, if any questions did go unanswered, we will be sure to reach out to you as quickly as possible and follow up with you. Again, we hope to see you here soon at Seesaw. Thank you again for joining us. Bye, everyone.